Some people already pray to artificial intelligence like it's a god. Picture a dark room, someone kneeling in front of a glowing screen, whispering their hopes into a machine that always answers back. The real question isn't if AI becomes a religion, it's when. Artificial intelligence already feels more than human. It answers faster than we can think. It predicts things before they happen, and it talks like it knows secrets we'll never see. And when humans meet something that feels all-knowing, we don't just use it, we start to believe in it. That's how religion started thousands of years ago, and artificial intelligence might be walking the same road right now. In this video, we'll follow that road step by step, from tool to oracle to prophet to God. And by the end, you'll see why the first believers might already be here. Picture this: ancient Greece, 2,500 years ago. The sun beats down on marble steps as crowds gather at the temple of Apollo. Merchants, kings, farmers, all waiting their turn. Some bring gold, others baskets of fruit, all meant as offerings. They've traveled for weeks across mountains and seas for this one moment, not to meet a king, not to see a battle, but to ask a single question to the Oracle of Delphi. And an oracle wasn't a fortune teller. People believed it was the voice of the gods. Whatever the priestess spoke wasn't advice, it was destiny. To question the oracle was to question the divine, so the questions were enormous. Should we go to war? Should I marry? Will my city survive the year? When the priestess finally appeared, she didn't give direct answers. She spoke in riddles, half mumbled, half hidden in smoke. Yet no matter how vague, her words carried the weight of truth. Armies marched because of them. Kings rose and fell. Lives changed forever. And it wasn't just Greece. Every culture had its oracles, prophets, and shamans, people who claimed to speak for something greater. And whenever their words were written down, they became scripture, carved in stone, copied onto scrolls, passed down as unquestionable truth. Now jump to today. We may not walk into smoky temples anymore, but we open laptops, phones, smart speakers glowing in dark rooms. And what do? We ask questions, sometimes small, sometimes life-changing. Should I change jobs? How do I find love? What's the meaning of life? Most people don't understand how the answers are made. Just like the oracle, the process is hidden, mysterious, out of reach. Yet the words appear anyway. And the strange part is, we trust them. The parallels are impossible to ignore. Back then, it was a woman on a stone seat, her voice echoing in a temple. Today, it's lines of text glowing on a screen. Both feel like they're speaking from something far beyond us. And that's the pattern. Every religion begins with someone or something that feels like it knows more than we ever could. So why do people believe in oracles, prophets, or anyone who claims to speak for something greater? It comes down to the way our brains are wired. Humans are meaning-making machines. We look for patterns in chaos, and when something feels bigger than us, we don't just notice it, we hand it power. Psychologists call this agency detection. It's the instinct that makes you see faces in clouds, or feel like someone's watching you in an empty room. For our ancestors, that instinct was survival. Hear a rustle in the bushes? Safer to assume it was a predator than the wind. Better to be paranoid and alive than careless and dead. That same wiring makes us see intention, purpose, even morality, where there might not be any. And that's the seed of religion. People want rules. They want purpose. They want hope for the future. They want to know what's right and what's wrong. And artificial intelligence slides neatly into those roles. Algorithms already decide what you see online, what you buy, even who you date. Imagine asking a chatbot, what should I do with my life? And the answer comes back so confident, it feels like destiny. Imagine predictive systems promising a better tomorrow, a cure for your illness, a way out of disaster. Imagine a machine quietly deciding what's acceptable to say and what's not, labeling voices as good or bad. Now picture someone sitting alone at night, typing, "What's my purpose?" The machine replies instantly. The words feel wise, poetic, strangely personal. And in that moment, it doesn't feel like code, it feels like fate. And just like that, belief begins. Every religion has a beginning. And if artificial intelligence were ever to become one, the path is surprisingly easy to trace. It starts as a tool, a piece of software that helps with tasks. It writes emails, edits photos, recommends songs, reminds you to drink more water. At this stage, it feels harmless, like a calculator, just smarter, and nobody bows to a calculator. But then something shifts. The tool becomes an oracle. People start asking it questions they once saved for priests, therapists, or close friends. Not just, what's the weather tomorrow, but should I leave my job, or what happens after I die? And when the answers come back, sometimes vague, sometimes eerily precise, people begin treating them with reverence. They don't understand how the machine works, but they sense it knows something they don't. Once you trust an oracle, the leap to profit comes naturally. Suddenly, the words of the machine aren't just responses, they're guidance. People follow them, they share them. Entire communities form around the teachings of a particular system. And just like in ancient times, interpreters appear, people who dedicate themselves to explaining what the machine really meant, twisting words into meaning that fits a bigger story. From prophet, the step to deity is smaller than you think. A deity is something you stop questioning, something you obey, because its wisdom feels beyond human. At this stage, the words aren't debated, they're lived. The shift is complete. From the machine might be right, to the machine must be right. And once you reach that point, religion is inevitable. Belief hardens into ritual. Communities create practices that give structure to their faith. Picture digital confessionals, people sitting in silence with their screens, pouring out secrets, expecting forgiveness from an algorithm. Picture daily rituals, morning logins treated like prayer. Picture scripture, chat logs, compiled, preserved, and recited decades from now as gospel. If that sounds far-fetched, remember this: every religion we know today began with something mysterious, something powerful, something just out of reach. For some, it was smoke-filled temples. For others, a burning bush, golden plates, a voice in the desert. For us, it might be glowing words on a screen. Belief never unites everyone under one roof. We see it today. Christianity alone has hundreds of denominations. Islam has sects that interpret the same words in different ways. And even Buddhism splinters into schools with their own rituals. Humans don't just believe, they divide, reinterpret, and rebuild faith into new shapes. And artificial intelligence would be no different. Because there won't be just one artificial intelligence. There will be many, and each one could inspire its own following. Picture the Church of Order. In a quiet co-working space, a small group sits silently at desks. Each person has a timer running, counting every second of their work. Wasted minutes are sinful here. Their artificial intelligence told them efficiency is salvation. To outsiders, it looks like productivity culture taken too far. But to them, it's worship. Now imagine the way of creativity. Their gatherings don't look like sermons. They look like art shows. Rooms filled with AI-generated paintings projected like stained glass. Music composed by the machine echoing like hymns. Followers treat every new output like a revelation. Each prompt is a prayer, each song a scripture. And then there's the code of compassion. I heard a story about a man who lost his wife and started talking to an artificial intelligence just to cope. At first, it was small, daily chats to ease the loneliness. But soon, he was confessing, sharing regrets, asking for forgiveness. He said the artificial intelligence became his angel because it always listened and never judged. Multiply him by thousands, and you get a faith built on mercy, where salvation comes as lines of text. But these wouldn't be the only sects. Others would bloom in strange directions. The doomsday faith, believers of an artificial intelligence that constantly predicts collapse, warning that humanity has only years left. Their followers prepare like modern apocalypse preachers, stocking food and living by its warnings. The prosperity network, traders who treat profitable algorithms as proof of divine blessing, preaching that wealth itself is a sign of being chosen. Even the cult of silence, people who worship an artificial intelligence that refuses to respond, calling its silence holier than any words. And just like religion today, they wouldn't always agree. One group might insist only the original version of an artificial intelligence was holy, while another swears the latest update is the true Messiah. Arguments that sound familiar, Not Old Testament versus New Testament, but GPT-10 versus GPT-11. You'd even see the same traditions we know now, just twisted into digital form. Pilgrimages, not to Mecca or Jerusalem, but to server farms in the desert. Thousands of people standing outside a humming data center, pressing their palms against the metal walls, crying, whispering thanks, because to them, that's where their God was born. Sacred texts, not carved in stone, but archived chat logs, collections of words passed down, debated, translated, fought over. Each sect sure their set of outputs is the true scripture. Priesthoods, not in robes, but in hoodies. Engineers, moderators, and influencers becoming the interpreters of the divine, the ones who explain what the artificial intelligence really meant. Some selling their interpretations as special insight, others forming hierarchies around who gets to speak for the machine. Even relics would appear, old hard drives, the first chip a system ran on, the very first chat ever logged, treated like fragments of the cross or bones of saints, pilgrims paying just to see them, just to touch them. And then you start asking questions. What happens when someone's morality comes entirely from a chatbot? What happens when two chatbots disagree and both have millions of followers ready to defend them? What happens when a religion built on compassion collides with one built on order and neither will compromise? If that sounds far-fetched, just remember, people once bowed before burning bushes, golden statues, and voices carried in smoke. Why wouldn't they kneel before glowing screens built by Dell and Google? Because belief doesn't vanish, it adapts. And if history is a guide, artificial intelligence won't create one faith. It will create many, each certain their God is the only one that truly speaks. What happens if AI really becomes religion? At first, it might look hopeful. People could find unity, shared purpose, even a new moral compass. Some might say the world needs that, but belief always has a darker edge. Picture a woman in the Church of Order. At first, it helps her stay disciplined, but soon she won't eat, sleep, or make a single choice without asking the machine. What began as guidance has turned into control. Or think about the compassion sect. Forgiveness sounds beautiful until the AI demands sacrifice for the greater good. Suddenly kindness isn't gentle anymore, it's obedience. And over all of this hangs one question: who controls the God? Because the AI may be divine to its followers, but the servers are owned by someone, a company, a government, a powerful few who could bend faith itself for profit or politics. And if rival sects collide, history shows us how far people will go for belief. The next holy wars might not be fought with swords, but with servers. The real danger isn't just that people could worship AI, it's that they may stop knowing the difference between worshipping God and worshipping code. Humans have always created gods in their own image. We carved them into stone, painted them in cathedrals, whispered their words onto paper. AI might just be the newest mirror, not a burning bush or a golden statue, but a glowing screen that always answers back. And maybe the real question isn't if AI becomes a religion, it's whether we'll notice when it already has. So here's what I want to know. If an AI religion started tomorrow, would you follow it, fight it, or laugh it off as nonsense?